President Ferdinand Bong Marcos Jr. and Malaysian King Al-Sultan Abdullah and Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim successfully held talks on Wednesday. Details of this report from Sancho.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s talks with the heads of state and government of Malaysia centered on the talks about the economy's recovery from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as strengthening of the halal food industry and Islamic banking. President Marcos received the arrival honors held at the parade ground of Istana Negara, which was followed by a 21-gun salute. Malaysian King Al-Sultan Abdullah and Queen Aziza first welcomed President Marcos and First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, as well as the Philippine delegation. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim and his wife, Dr. Juan Aziza, also warmly welcomed the president. President Marcos's delegation include House Speaker Martin Romualdez, Senators J.V. Ejercito and Mark Villar, Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, Finance Secretary Benjamin Jokno, Trade Secretary Alfredo Pascual, Communications Secretary Chela Garafil, TESA Director General Suharto Mangundadatu, Minda Chairperson Mabel Acosta, Social Secretary Bianca Subel, Ilocos 1st District Representative Sandro Marcos, BARM Prime Minister Ahud Ibrahim, Sultan Kudarat Governor Datu Pax Ali Mangundadatu, and Tawi-Tawi Governor Ismael Sali. Mahigit 6 na dekada na ang diplomatic relations ng Pilipinas at Malaysia. Kaya naman hindi nakapagtataka na isang bansang Malaysia sa pinuntahan ni Pangulong Bong Marcos. At dito sa Istana Negara, dito ginanap ang state welcome at banquet para kay Pangulong Bong Marcos sa pinangunahan mismo ng ika-16 na hari ng Malaysia. In an appreciation for President Marcos's visit, a ceremonial tree planting was held at the National Palace, wherein the president planted a melanjao tree, a type of evergreen plant with the scientific name Ginetum ginemum. King Al-Sultan Abdullah, for his part, hoped for deeper cooperation between the Philippines and Malaysia, particularly in the agricultural sector as well as the digital economy and halal food industry. President Marcos, meanwhile, sees Malaysia as a good partner, especially amid the continuous recovery of both countries following the severe impact brought by the COVID-19 pandemic. Nandito tayo ngayon sa Putrajaya, Malaysia at nasa labas ako ngayon ng Prime Minister's Office kung saan ginanap ang pagpupulong sa pagitan ni Pangulong Bong Marcos at Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. Meanwhile, Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim lauded President Marcos as his personal friend. According to Anwar, Malaysia is not commonly visited by a head of state. President Marcos and Prime Minister Anwar also held talks on how to strengthen the economy in this post-pandemic era, as well as strengthening of the halal industry as both the Philippines and Malaysia aim to enter the Middle Eastern market. Both leaders also talk about the ongoing conflict in Myanmar.
We mentioned also the potential for halal industry in both countries. We will certainly do our utmost in terms of the issue of certification, but I think jointly we should undertake some effective measures to ensure that the halal industry can penetrate more effectively into the Middle Eastern market in particular.
President Marcos also shared that he and the Malaysian Prime Minister both agreed to resume the Joint Commission meeting in October this year. The Philippine President said that the said meeting would enable both countries to have an in-depth discussion on transnational crime, agriculture, halal industry, Islamic banking, education, tourism and culture, sports, and digital economy.
We do this so that our government agencies will have an avenue to discuss priority cooperation in detail, most especially in the areas of transnational crimes, agriculture, halal industry, Islamic banking, education, tourism, and culture, sports, and the digital economy. We continue to work on the corresponding MOUs in these fields and will have them signed in the near future.
President Marcos also added that the cooperation of the Philippines and Malaysia will strengthen the halal industry, Islamic banking, and food security, particularly in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region or BARM, and this will be made possible through Malaysia's expertise to train Filipinos in the said industries.
Building on our bilateral relations, our governments commit to closely coordinate efforts to build capacity in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in southern Philippines, in Muslim Mindanao, especially on sectors such as the halal industry, Islamic banking, and food security. Malaysia has warmly offered their expertise to train Philippine personnel and officials to strengthen our capabilities in these increasingly important sectors.
Thursday marks the end of the three-day state visit of President Marcos here in Malaysia. And before returning to the Philippines, he is set to talk with the top leaders of the business industry here in Malaysia. For God and my beloved Philippines, this has been Hannah Jane Sancho, SLA News, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
President Ferdinand Bong Marcos Jr. congratulated the Philippine women's football team for their win against New Zealand. Here are the details in MJ Mondejar's report.
Filipinos are all out cheering for Team Filipinas in the ongoing FIFA Women's World Cup 2023. And when the Pinay squad emerged victorious against New Zealand with a score of 1-0, our countrymen erupted in cheers. They are just a few of the millions of Filipinos who celebrated the historic match of the Philippine squad. According to PBA Part List Representative Mix Nograles, a sports and youth representative in Congress, this victory is a significant milestone, especially as it marks the first ever goal made by the Philippine team in the tournament.
Very, very proud ako because the assist, yung nag-assist si Sarah, yung nag-assist dun sa naka-goal na si Serena, taga Davao. Actually, masaya siya. So, diba, nataas na naman natin ang bali na pagkadabawan nyo.
As a former athlete, Nograles emphasized that the historic performance of the Filipinas is a great achievement that uplifts Filipino women on the world stage.
Mas nakaka-proud to see that the women, kasi usually sa soccer, sa football, lalaki, diba? Very dominant. And now the women are really showing that they are capable and they can really showcase the talents of the Filipino women.
The Malacanang also lauded the success of the Philippines in the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. In an official post on Twitter, President Bongbong Marcos sent warm congratulations to the Philippine women's football team. However, according to Nograles, the president did not mention in his recent State of the Nation address the administration's plans for sports development. Despite that, Filipino athletes continue to reap success in various sports disciplines, including weightlifting superstar Hidalyn Diaz and pole vaulting superstar EJ Obiena. Nonetheless, Nograles said she is confident that the president will not neglect the nation's athletes.
Well, I would have wanted to hear kung ano yung pwede natin magawa this second regular session sa ating mga athletes if there's going to be additional budget and all. I'm sure naman it's also part of the priorities of the president.
In the upcoming budget season, Nograles expects the leadership of the House of Representatives to work together in advocating for the necessary funds for the athletes. For God and my beloved Philippines, MJ Mondejar, SMNI News.